Every year, the relatives who visit Rokkenjima let out a sigh of admiration at the rose garden which first greets them. They stood there talking with each other about the rose's beauty and the state that they are blooming this year. There was a single unhealthy rose among them, and Maria became overwhelmed with dejection at its state. But George used his quick wits, and saying she should look after it if she felt that sorry for it. He mocked it with a candy wrapper and immediately restored Maria's good mood. And was Badler, with whom she had been getting along well all morning, raised the subject of Halloween that Maria loved so much, and she began playing around energetically again. To Maria, those marshmallow jack-o'-lantern candies that her mother had bought for her were probably a treasure greater than any other. It seemed that several of them had been bought for her, and she demanded trick-or-treat from every person she met, giving them candy instead of the other way around. And that's sweet.
マリアはどうしてこんなにハロウィンが好きなんだろうな。日本人には一つ馴染みにくいイベントだと思ってたんだが。
仮装行列で練り歩く子供のお祭りだからじゃねえのか?
And she can dress up as a witch herself.
普段と違う格好をしてはしゃぎ合うってのは楽しいぜ。
多分僕はもう少しディープな理由によるものだと思うな。何しろ魔女のマリアちゃんだからね。
そういや、飛行場でもマリアは仮装するなら魔女になりたいって言っていたっけ。マリアって魔女が好きなんだ。
ええ、大好きよ。困ったくらいに。
まあまあ、あのくらいの年頃はファンタジックな存在に憧れるもんですから。
せめてテレビアニメのヒロインに憧れるくらいなら可愛いんだけど。
Like, going for a different spin on the whole magical side of things. Instead of witches and mages, she can go with magical girls, like Sailor Moon. Granted, that is not a thing till 1992, so... Judging by Rosa's reactions, it seemed that, as a mother, she did not find her daughter's love for witches pleasant. Seemingly all the cousins other than Bella were able to understand this, and they shrugged their shoulders, smiling awkwardly.
魔女好きだとハロウィンも好きになるって論法なのか？わかんなきゃ本人に聞けばいいか。おい、マリア！ハロウィンと魔女って何か関係あるのか？
As Bella asked that, George and Jessica let out small "ah" noise. It seemed they were too late. It almost looked as though Maria had been waiting for that question. After looking happy for an instant, her expression turned a little mean, as if to say, "You don't know anything, do you?" It was the expression of an enthusiast who has been enraged by the ignorant statement of an outsider with a wrong impression. Yeah. You can just feel the energy of a little girl who's about to call you a baka. Do you see this, Rosa? Also, speaking of Rosa, let me rewind a little and say what I have to say about Mr. Rose over here. I said that what actually happened is Goda took the flower this morning after we all went out, like inside the guest house, and he prepared the food with the pillows for Mr. Rose. I wonder if stopping Goda from picking that flower specifically will help us with anything. That we no longer have that episode with Maria and Rosa. Maybe.
ケルト人は1年間を通じてその勢いを変える太陽は
1
年を通して生まれ育ち老いて死んでそして再び蘇ると考えていたの。
納得だな。春のか弱いポカポカした太陽がどんどん成長して暑いくらいになり、次第に痩せ衰えていく様をなるほど太陽の一生と考えるのもうなずけるぜ。
から彼らは10月の最後に太陽は死に、死の国で体を休めて冬至の日に再び蘇ると考えたの。それで太陽が1年の生涯を終えて死ぬその日を大晦日サビンと呼んでお祝いしたの。
再び日照時間が長くなりだす冬至の日を太陽の復活の日とする考え方はとても面白いよね。古代の人々がいかに太陽を神聖視していたかがわかるエピソードだよ。
なるほど。で、それが魔女とどう関係があるんだ？
It seemed that my casual urging forward had slightly infuriated Maria. She glared at me with eyes that told me to let her explain without interrupting. Alright, geesh. Maria looked like she was having fun telling me, so I decided not to interrupt.
10月と11月の狭間は生と死が最も近くなる。ケルト人たちはこの時期に聖者の世界と死者やこの世ならざる者の世界が最も近づき、異界の住人たちがたくさん訪れると信じてたの。日本でいうお盆みたいなものだよ。
At the time, the people believed that the souls returning to the physical world will go into people's houses or possess people to do bad things. Nah. What they actually do is go to the physical world and get jobs themselves. They become either pirates or private investigators. So in order to avoid harm from them, the people invented protective rituals. One of those was to imitate creepy monsters and scare the souls instead, which was apparently a way to avoid being possessed.
その部分がお祭りになっていって仮装行列になってったんだな。マリアは本当に物知りだぜ。
ほんまやな。わしもハロウィンに備えな言われがあるなんて知らんかったわ。
しかし、それのどこにお菓子をくれなきゃいたずらしちゃうぞってのが出てくるんだ？
Her knowledge was so extensive that the adults had started listening in too at some point. Maria, who was normally always treated like the youngest, puffed out her chest in pride. Rosa tried to say this was just a kid's story, and that she wanted to quickly break up the circle and set the luggage down in the guest house. But nobody else agreed, and she let out a heavy sigh. Yeah, sorry, Rosa. As much as this pains you, we would like to hear what Maria has to say about Halloween. Maybe this can offer us some clue.
トリックオアトリートは単なるお遊び。本来のケルト人たちの儀式とは何の関係もない。それは後にキリスト教の習慣が混合してできたものなの。でもマリアは本来のハロウィンの姿とはそうあるべきだと思うの。
According to Maria, the souls of the dead weren't the only ones who visited from the world of the non-human. There were also spirits that had an intimate connection to how people lived. It was because humans received the favors of those spirits that they were able to earn a wonderful blessing and a year's worth of good crops.
つまりハロウィンってのは収穫祭の意味も少しはあったわけか。
なるほどな。言われてみりゃ10月ってのは季節的にもいろいろ節目って気がするぜ。日本の4月のちょうど反対側だもんな。なるほど。キリはいいかもしれねえな。
そしてね、魔女たちはね、その時期に魔女集会サバトを開いたの。
Sabbat, you say? Huh. Wonder if that is also something Beatrice does. A Sabbat.
魔女たちは豊かな恵みをもたらしてくれた精霊たちに感謝し、ねぎらったの。
ハロウィンの仮装は向こうから来る客人たちの模倣。つまり彼らにお菓子を施すのは一年の収穫への感謝の気持ちがあってもいいわけだね。
ジョージお兄ちゃんの言う通り。
つまりハロウィンはこの世とあの世の交流のある時期ってわけなんだな。 それでつまり魔女たちにとってはそういう世界の客人たちと交流できる大切な機会だったと。
Huh. How convenient that we also do a family conference during this time as well.
そう言いたいわけか？
バトラの言う通り。だからね魔女たちや悪魔たちの力が最も活発で盛んになるのが10月なの。
Well, that's reassuring.
きっとベアトリーチェも来てくれる。そしてね、一緒にマシュマロお菓子食べてマリアも黄金鏡に連れてってもらうの。一緒に魔法のお歌を歌って魔法の呪文を習って魔法陣の書き方を習うの。そしてね、ルーンの秘密を習って早く早くマリアを立派な魔女にしてもらうの。
あらあら、それは素敵ね。子供は夢があるのが一番よ。ところでローザ、マリアちゃんは今年でいくつになったんだったかしら？
マリア。
Oh boy, here we go. Eva's another of Eva's victim over here, trying to ridicule Rosa for this.
もうそのお話は終わりにしなさい。
気にしないでローザさん。女の子なら誰だって一度は思い描く夢じゃない。
Yeah, thank you, Kirium.
ありがとうございます。
I know you mean it well. I don't know about Eva here. She likes to make fun of everyone, I tell you.
でももうマリアはそういう年を卒業していますので。こら、やめなさいと言ってるでしょ。
Rosa scolded Maria, trying to shut her up before her cheery discussion about black magic earned her the snickers of the relatives.
へえ、そいつはなんだかスケールのでかい話だな。ところでベアトリーチェって誰だっけ？なんだっけ？聞いた名前だな。
Balor had been gone for 6 years, and had completely forgotten about the legend of the Rokenjima witch. However, when he said that he didn't know Beatrice's name, Maria's mood, which had been so bright until just now, became sour in an instant. Yeah. We would like to hear your thoughts on Beatrice, Maria. No doubt you have a lot to say about her. When he saw that, Balor immediately remembered that it was the name of the witch of this island, but the damage had been done. Until Maria's mood improved, many mysterious and fabulous episodes regarding the Golden Witch were jeweled into his brain.
もうよしなさいマリア。ありがとうねバトラ君、お話に付き合ってくれて。カノン君、お仕事があるんでしょ？もう行ってちょうだい。ゴーダさん、みんなとりあえず荷物を置きたがってると思うの。悪いんだけど、みんなをゲストハウスへ案内してくれるかしら。
かしこまりました。それでは皆様、ゲストハウスへご案内いたします。
それでは失礼いたします。
Led by Gora, the relatives headed off in the direction of the guest house. Their minds on setting down their luggage and taking a quick rest, they did notice that Rosa and Maria had stayed on the same spot. After watching them leave towards the guest house, Rosa's features changed subtly. She let go with the hand that had been gripping Maria's arm the whole time. There was a bright red mark there, making it clear how much excessive force she had been gripping Maria's slender arm with. The hand then smacked Maria over the head and pulled her left ear up into the air, pinching it sharply.
魔女の話はするなといつも言ってるでしょうが。それはママとの約束だといつも言っているでしょ。
ママ痛い、ママ痛い、痛い。
ハロウィンうるさいのよあんたは。魔女のお祭り？ケルト人が何よ、黒魔術が何よ、バカじゃないの。 あんた9歳よ、9歳。電車であんなに騒ぐから、わざわざ電車降りてまでその蛍光塗料みたいな気持ち悪いお化けマシュマロを買ってやったのよ。遅刻してまであんたに買ってやったのよ。あんた、どこまで私の顔を潰せば気が済むのよ。
Rosa cursed. She twisted Maria's ear up, making it seem like it was going to snap off. An expression of anguish spread across Maria's face, and she stood on her tiptoes as though her life depended on it, trying to soften the pain on the ear that was being pulled. Rosa suddenly stole the candy that Maria had been holding in her hand. Then, she threw it on the ground and stepped on it over and over. To Maria, it was supposed to be proof of her memory of that span of time, however brief, when she had enjoyed going shopping with her mother. But it was being trampled by that very same mother. It was as though a brand was being pushed against Maria's eyes, leaving a mark that couldn't be erased.
こんな気持ち悪いお菓子が何よ。気持ち悪い、気持ち悪い。あんたがそんなんだから、あんたがそんなんだから。気持ち悪い、気持ち悪い、気持ち悪い。
She struck Maria's head over and over again with her palm as she spoke. She didn't hit Maria's face, because the red swelling would stand out. Maria closed her eyes tightly, patiently bearing her mother's violence. No, that wasn't quite it.
帰ってきてママ、帰ってきてママ。助けてママ、助けてママ。悪い魔女に打ち勝って。
She kept bearing it, muttering that over and over.
だから、その魔女ってのをやめろっつってんのよ。この
Rosa's shoulders shook as she breathed, tired from hitting. Maria grasped her hands together, withstanding it, hoping her mother would come back quickly.
ママ、ママ、早く帰ってきて。マリアを助けてよ、ママ。悪い魔女をやっつけてよ。
いつまでもそこでそうしていなさい。そしてそこで魔女でもハロウィンでもいつまでもブツブツ一人で言ってればいいのよ。
After throwing those words at Maria, Rosa went off towards the guest house, leaving Maria behind. Maria, unable even to remember that it was alright to cry, kept staring down at the trampled but unrecognizable jack-o'-lantern candy.
Ara, Rosa. どこ行ってたの？
ごめんなさい。バラが素敵だったもので、ついつい。
Yeah. You just wanted to admire them. Feel them. Though, be careful. Some of those roses can be quite thorny, Rosa.
ローザ、早く荷物を置いてこいよ。兄貴んとこへ挨拶に行こうぜ。
ん？マリアちゃんはどうしたんや？
Yeah. What happened to Maria, Rosa? Where did you leave her?
まだ花壇におるんかいな。
ええ。気に入ったバラがあるみたいで、世話をするって言って聞かなくて。しばらくは好きにさせることにしました。
女の子には女の子の世界があったことを私たちはたまに忘れるわ。時には尊重してあげないとね。
そうね。お気遣いをありがとう、キリエ姉さん。ゴーダさん、私たちの部屋はどこ？
ご案内いたします。こちらでございます。お荷物をお持ちいたしましょう。
結構よ。自分で持てます。ありがとう。
Rosa went to the room that Gora had guided her to. Closing the door somewhat violently, she threw her luggage on top of the bed. She got down on her knees in front of the bed and buried her face in it. For a while, Rosa made as if to shred the sheets with her fingernails, sobbing continually.
Maria-sama, 大丈夫ですか?
Kanon, who had been hiding behind a thicket, appeared after watching Rosa leave. Maria laughed unpleasantly, but to Kanon, who had seen the whole thing, it looked like she was enduring as best as she could.
最低のやつだ。あれで母親なんて。
Well, I wouldn't say horrible. Either she has become so mentally unstable because of the whole witch thing, or she has split personality, or she's being possessed by a witch. Speaking of possibly being possessed by a witch, hello there, Maria. How's Mr. Rose doing?
仕方ないよ。その程度の器にはその程度のが入り込む。マリアは全然平気だよ。
Kanon got down on his knees and picked up the trampled candy. It was tragic just looking at it. He thought about dusting it off and returning it to her, but really couldn't do so with it in that condition. Poor jack-o'-lantern. As he was at a loss of what to do, he met eyes with Maria. No, they didn't meet. Maria was looking at the candy that Kanon had picked up. Right now, Maria's heart was surely the same as that trampled candy which had been crushed into a pulp. Kanon realized this, but he didn't know what he should do.
そうだ。さっき僕がもらったのと交換してあげるよ。
Kanon remembered that an identical candy which he had received from Maria was in his pocket. Maria stuck out her hand. Kanon thought she was trying to accept it, so he held out the candy. But Maria didn't try to grasp it. Then Kanon realized she was asking him to give it back. No matter how tragic it was, the trampled candy was Maria's. Her mother had bought it for her. No matter how tragic, it had to be this candy. If only it could be made pretty again by dusting it off. Kanon hung his head.
僕には誇りを払う程度しかできない。ごめん。
Kanon held out the miserable candy she wanted. Maria took it and spoke.
ありがとう。人間には誇りしか払えないけど、魔女には元通りに直すことができるよ。
Ah, see? See did you hear what she said? She said that you are human, Kanon.
ベアトリーチェなら簡単にね。
マリア様、ベアトリーチェ様のことをご存知なのですか?
There couldn't be anyone related to the Shinomiya family who didn't know Beatrice's name, with Bella as an exception. But just now, Maria had told Bella about her proudly. She had spoken almost as though she had been meeting with Beatrice regularly. The inside of the fist Kanon made with his left hand hurt sharply. In the past, a witch called Beatrice had appeared and had tempted him and Shanna. He had always tried to make himself think it had been a bad dream. However, Shannon insisted that it had definitely been a real witch. And then, this summer, the shrine to the local Shinto god had been hit by lightning and had disappeared without a trace in the span of a single night. Still wondering if it was just lightning or something more magical happened to it for it to disappear like that. Starting to think that this was a result of Shannon breaking the mirror, but I don't know if it's actually the same thing. He had known that Shannon had broken the mirror, and he remembered too that upon the witch's departure, she had left him with the words that she would eventually be revived. And now, this girl who had no end of faith in Beatrice spoke as though she had met her. Kanan couldn't suppress a sense of something ominous welling up in his heart. For a while, Maria remained silent, as though she could see into Kanon's heart. As though she was waiting for his memory of Beatrice to come back to him. Then, she spoke matter-of-factly.
マリアはね、ベアトリーチェとお友達なの。今日だって会って一緒に遊ぶよ。
Good for you, Maria. I guess.
遊びますか？
うん。遊ぶよ。一緒にね、魔法のお勉強をするの。
The face of the witch, who Kanon had tried to pretend was a bad dream, began to slowly creep into the back of his mind.
"お父様は研究で大変ご多忙と仰せです。残念ながらこちらへはおいでになれないとのことです。
やれやれ。こちとら秋の大忙しの中、日程をつけてはるばる六軒島まで来てるんだぜ。親父も少しは愛想をよくしてもらいたいもんだぜ。
ほんとよね。南條先生、本当に研究や機嫌の問題なの？ベッドから起き上がれないくらいに容体が悪いって言うんじゃないの？
さて、どうでしょうかな。私の口からは何とも。
Nanjo glanced at Natsuki, as though he wasn't qualified to disregard Natsuki when he spoke on this topic.
お父様はますますにご健康でいらっしゃいます。寝たきりなどと失礼極まりない。
でも余命3ヶ月なんでしょ？普通に考えれば痩せ衰えてベッドからも起きられないはずよ。でしょ、南條先生？
波の患者ならそうでしょうがな。金蔵さんは並外れた気力をお持ちです。あの気迫にお迎えも恐れて近寄れないのかもしれませんな。
Well, what can I say? The Grim Reaper can be quite a pussy sometimes.
それほどまでにお元気なら少なくとも安心ね。
そこまで元気ならせめて挨拶くらいはさせてほしいもんなんだがな。親族会議ってのは親父の顔を見に来たって意味なんだぜ。これじゃあ何のために来たのかわからねえぜ。
そう言うな。いればいたで心が休まらないといつもぼやくのだろうが。兄弟一同水入らずで今年も全員欠けることなく集まれたことを喜ぼうじゃないかね。
昨年の親族会議でも会えなかったのよ。血を分けた子供たちが2年ぶりに挨拶したいというのがどうして理解してもらえないのかしら。
挨拶の言葉があるのでしたら私どもがお伝えします。それともエヴァさん、何かお父様にお会いして挨拶以上のお話でもあられるのですか？
いやね、何の話よも
う。予算かエヴァ。夏井さん、堪忍な。エヴァも娘として
お父さんの病状が不安なだけなんや。ちょいと気持ちを汲み取ってな。
その通りだな。エヴァは親父殿が嫁を宣告されてから急に親孝行をするようになったじゃないか。なるほど。その姿をぜひ見てもらいたいという気持ちもわからなくない。
何が言いたいのよ。
よせよ姉貴。晩飯までには機嫌を直してくれるよう祈ろうじゃねえか。それに俺たちは到着したばかり。まずは軽く挨拶に訪れただけだぜ。親族会議は親父抜きだってできる。いや、兄弟で意見を統一してからじゃなきゃ話せねえことだっていろいろあるはずだぜ。な、秀吉兄さん。
Oh. You mean to say the whole inheritance and business problems? Boring. Gonna watch some more Godzilla on TV.
そうや。ルドルフ君の言う通りや。わしらが全員顔を揃えるのは年に一度しかない。貴重な時間を大事にし、汚い話し合いをせんといかん。
Even though the tea hadn't even come yet, they were very strong-minded.
でもその前に本家の素晴らしい調度品に囲まれた客間でのんびりと紅茶を楽しむゆとりがあってもいいんじゃないかしら。
Kiria's words seemed to hold some slight admonishment towards all the people gathered in that place. They all understood, and as they cleared their throats and straightened their neckties, the atmosphere in the room returned to normal for a moment.
失礼します。お茶をお持ちいたしました。
よー、シャノンちゃん。
Shannon-chan! Nice to see you! You make my kokoro go oh!
ますますべっぴんさんになったな。
Shannon entered the parlor, pushing the serving cart. Everyone decided to slowly enjoy some black tea for the time being. A wonderful aroma began to spread throughout the parlor. Well, thank God it's not a fishy aroma. Looking at that scene, it would have been impossible to guess the strained atmosphere which had been there until right before Shannon had entered. Of course, Shannon, who was sending out the tea, probably didn't even notice. Kitty made a gesture that seemed to laugh at everyone's adult appearance. Rudolph didn't like it when Kitty took the initiative and spoke at the family conference. It was his worthless male pride. He probably didn't want to look like a weak man taking his wife's advice. She understood that, and was doing her best to refrain from saying anything unnecessary. Or rather, I mean, he does take his wife's advice, just making sure that he doesn't do that in front of his siblings to get embarrassed and such, like a child. I mean, we do know that Kirie helped Rudolph in his businesses before. I mean, they talk to each other about their strategies and such. So she separated herself from the circle of siblings, which was good-natured only in appearance, and slowly enjoyed her tea near the window.
あら、ローザさん。兄弟で水入らずなのでは？
ご冗談を。
ごめんなさい。気を悪くしないで。うちの夫に呆れてるだけだから。
It seemed that Rosa hadn't been able to keep up that charade of amicability. They had come here to fight bloodily and dirtily, each trying to steal the inheritance from the others. She probably didn't want to pretend to be fellow conspirators at this stage. Or maybe she was still much too inexperienced for that.
だいぶ風が出てきているようですね。枝葉があんなに揺れて。
もう台風が近くまで来ているのでしょうね。今夜あたりからはだいぶ降るのかしら。
マリアちゃん、この1年で随分立派になりましたね。
そう見えます。 未だに自分のお洋服を畳むことすらできないんですよ。
ええ、こんなにも愛情たっぷりなお母さんと一緒なんですもの。心の豊かな子に成長しますよ。
Rosa was silent. Maybe she wasn't sure as to how Kitty had meant that.
私なんて母親失格ですよ。子に生まれる親は選べない。あの子がかわいそうで。
お互い様じゃないですか。親だって生まれる子は選べない。
Rosa bit her lower lip.
どちらが悪いとかじゃなくて、一緒に生きていくんだという気持ちでゆっくり成長を見守ってあげればいいじゃないですか。ローザさんは毎日をマリアちゃんと過ごしてるから小さな変化に気づかないかもしれないけれど、1年ぶりに再会した私たちにはその大きな成長ぶりがよくわかりますよ。
もし本気で言ってくれてるならありがとうございます。
それでは失礼いたします。ご用がありましたらいつでもお呼びつけください。
Shannon bowed politely and left the room. After Hideyoshi and Rudolph watched her go with turned heads, the atmosphere in the room began to revert back to what it had been right before Shannon had visited. Oh boy. Round 2! Fight!
お父様がいらっしゃられないなら、それはそれでできる話もあるというものよ。
And Eva makes her first move.
ねえ、ルドルフ。
ああ、そうだな。俺たちははるばるここまで埃の匂いがする紅茶を飲みに来たわけじゃねえぜ。
よかろう。1秒を争ってお前たちがしたいという話を聞こうじゃないか。
やれやれ、たくましい人たちね。早速始めたわ。
私も加わらないといけないわ。あの人たち、私が主張しないと4人兄弟であることをすぐ忘れるから。
あなたも大変ね。ちょっと言葉を選ばなかったかしら。ごめんなさい。
ううん、気にしてません。こちらこそごめんなさい。私たち互いに娘を持つ母親同士なんだから、もっと交流しなきゃいけないのに。
With daughters. Both mothers with daughters.
いっつも会えば変な話ばかりで。
この屋敷の空気のせいよ。ここの空気を嗅ぐといっつも私たちはギスギスし合ってるもの。ローザさんとは親族会議じゃない席で一度ゆっくりお茶でも飲みたいわ。銀座に行きつけの素敵な喫茶店があるの。ぜひ今度招待させて。
ありがとう、キリエさん。その時はぜひ。
いやーね、急に空が暗くなってきたわ。まるでこの部屋の人たちが天気を悪くしてるみたい。
It really makes you agree with Kinzo's mindset on how much of a pack of vultures they can be at times. They even made the weather worse because of it.
もうゴロゴロ鳴ってるわ。あら、ぽつりと来たかしら。
There really were small splashes of rain on the glass of the parlor window. It seems that the weather had gotten worse faster than he had expected. Just then, a silent thunderbolt struck inside Rosa's head, and she remembered that her beloved child was in the rose garden. A normal girl would think about going into the house if the weather got bad. But Maria was different. She would sometimes become stubborn, and wouldn't move no matter whether rain or even spears fell from the sky. That's right, I told that kid just stay there doing that forever, didn't I? Oh no! Rosa, did you make an oopsie yet again? Well, that's not nice.
Maria!
At this small exclamation, everyone turned to look at Rosa.
なんだ、どうしたんだね。
ごめんなさい。ちょっと表に行ってきます。すぐ戻ります。
Yeah, sorry about that. We're gonna have to go. Oh, poor baby. Poor Maria.
なんだなんだ。どうしたってんだあいつ。
いいじゃない。すぐ戻るわよ。それより始めたら？私たちの本題。
そうね。ローザ抜きでも進められる話よ。話を戻しましょう。
Rosa dashed from the entrance hall into the rose garden. When she opened the door, the wind that hit her was too strong to be called a breeze, and told her that the typhoon was approaching faster than she had thought. Just as KS had said, small droplets of rain were mixed in with the wind. There were also the low rumble of thunder. It started raining any time. Rosa headed for the rose garden. She headed for the place where she had scolded Maria a short while ago. It was almost lunchtime. And the children had been told that they could just come to the mansion at lunchtime. So they were probably in the guest house, waiting to be called. Even if Maria didn't come, they would surely think that I had taken her to the mansion with me, and wouldn't worry much. After all, she was with her mother, so there shouldn't have been anything to worry about. Except I was here, and had thrown my daughter into the worsening weather outside, all alone. It really was as I thought. She was standing stock still, exactly the same way she had been, in the place where I had scolded her. Okay, well, thank God. I mean, it didn't get as worse as last time, and when it was raining. Well, now it's about to rain. Held her in her hand, the candy that I had bought, given her, and then stepped on and crushed her. With that gripped in her hand, she had been standing there, as the strong wind whipped her hair about, tormenting her. I wonder if this is just me, or there is a bit of discrepancy between this game and the last one. Maria keeps mentioning this evil witch that possessed Rosa, even though in similar circumstances last time I didn't hear Maria mention any bad witch that possessed her. In which case, it would make sense that this is a tactic that Beatrice is using to confuse us. She might be using a witch to possess Maria, and now the evil witch that might have been possessing Maria before is trying to lead us on a fake pathway by mentioning a completely different witch. Rosa buried her face in Maria's small chest, crying and begging forgiveness. And those tears dripped down again, as they had countless times before. If only the brilliant sun had been shining on the two of them. All their cares would have evaporated, and they would have felt like they could begin anew. However, what surrounded the two of them was the worsening weather. The strong winds mixed in with the sound of thunder were saddening. Rosa noticed the sound of Maria sniffling. If she stood exposed to the wind for too long, she would probably catch a cold.
さあ、マリア。もうすぐお昼よ。ママと一緒にお屋敷に行きましょう。
行かない。
どうして？
Huh? Rosa thought that Maria had already forgiven her, so she never imagined she would refuse. But that expression on Maria's face didn't look like that of a child resisting her mother. So Rosa wasn't able to understand why Maria wanted to stand still in the rose garden, pointlessly, as the weather grew even worse. Maria answered that question.
ベアトリーチェがね、もうすぐ来るの。だから待ってるの。
マリア。
Waiting for Beatrice? You mean here specifically? Could it be that she knows about the umbrella and the letter? Rosa started to say something, faltered, and then fell silent. They had just gone to great lengths to make up with each other. She chose her words carefully, trying to get Maria to come with her to the mansion without denying the witch outright.
ベアトリーチェが来るの？そう。ならここじゃなくてお屋敷の中で待ちましょう。いつまでもこんな風の中にいたら風邪をひいてしまうわ。
来る！ベアトリーチェは来る！そしたらね、ベアトリーチェにね、お菓子あげるの。トリックオアトリートするの。
Then again, this whole thing with Halloween and the jack-o'-lantern is different than last time. No doubt this whole thing is part of Beatrice's new game and her rearranging things. For what reason, though?
ジャック・オーランタンのマシュマロお菓子あげてハッピーハロウィンって言うの。
Maria pulled yet another sweet out of her handbag, moaning, ooh, ooh. Rosa was bewildered, not knowing what to do as Maria started being difficult again. Just then, there was a sudden and massive roar of thunder. It was probably a sign. Rosa, calm down here, calm down. You just had that breakdown like a while ago, and now we had this slow moment. Forgiveness. Let's not go to that moment again. A sign that indicated this island had become closed off by the storm, and detached from common sense and reality. Huh. Therefore, as of this moment, all common sense would no doubt be useless. The wind blew even stronger. In the middle of a blizzard of scattered rose petals, a figure appeared, leaving Rosa momentarily unable to imagine that this was a scene from reality. No, probably it had to be fantastical. Because that figure was shaped like... The hell?